Hello everyone and welcome to, what are we going to do? Hello everyone, hello you out there, hello.
Hello world.
Hello world. Hello everyone, I am Paul and this is To All My Friends. Welcome to our channel where you'll come to listen to me talk about beers, spirits, maybe some wines, and come along with the journey with us and hopefully learn something about beer along the way. So welcome. Let's try some dark beers today. Coming into autumn, why not? First one we're going to try is a Nitro Porter from Boat Rocker. Don't know if the camera can pick up on that. It's a lovely cream head. It's lovely. We're just going to let that one settle. We're going to compare it to a porter from Badlands. So Boat Rocker, Stout, Badlands Porter. Traditionally, porter is a stout as well, or a stout is a porter. Stout porter. So traditionally, you had a porter and then you had a stout porter, a heavier option. Not so much the case these days. You get porters that can go anywhere up to 7, 8, 9% barrel aged. Same with stouts. You can get them at 4%. You can get them up to 10, 11, 12% with imperial porters and Baltic porters and barrel aged porters. Let's try this porter first. Now this porter, the Trinity Porter from Badlands, has chocolate, cacao, vanilla beans, and rum in it from FNQ. All those flavors come through really, really quickly. You get the nice spice on the palate. It's a little bit of pencil shaving there. I like that from the rum coming through, and the vanilla bean is really strong on the back palate. I can still taste it now. Lovely beer.
The rum into it?
They put the rum into it normally during the last part of fermentation. I'm not too sure with this one, but from tasting it, I would say it's done right at the end. Yeah. I love that beer. Now we can see how this stout has settled out. So it's no longer rising from the bottom. You have to let stouts sit there, especially the Nitro stouts. You have to let them sit for a little while to get the full enjoyment out of them. This is a traditional stout. This reminds me of London style, UK, British style. Not quite Irish. Doesn't have the creaminess that an Irish stout or the ABV, because this one is definitely over the 5%. It's smooth, it's silky. It is kind of like liquid silk, if I can use those words. The nitrous is it's very soft. So you can drink this one like you're drinking water or milk. The carbonation just doesn't quite hit like CO2 does. I like that about Nitro stouts. Roasted coffee. Toffee. I'm getting some prunes, maybe some date or raisin. All of those nice flavors that come together, savory flavors. And yeah, that's a cracking beer. So, porters, stouts. This time of year, really, really enjoyable in the colder weather. And as it comes into winter, that's when the barrel-aged ones, the heavier ABV ones will come out, and I look forward to trying some of them. What else can we try?
Is there a general question? What makes something a craft beer?
Well, what makes something a craft beer? I guess the most thing would be the amount that they brew in. Usually craft beers are definitely below like the 10,000 litre systems, but that's not a rule. Craft beer is generally put in the same category as independent breweries, so the independent breweries aren't anywhere near as big as the commercial ones. I won't name any names, but we know what they are in Australia. They're brewing beers on a very, very large level, using a lot of adjuncts in the beer as well. Adjuncts being things that aren't water, barley, yeast or hops. So they'll put in, they might use sugars to get the ABV. They might use a hop extract instead of using actual hop. Yeah, so there's a blurred line between what is a craft beer and what isn't, but I would say generally independent breweries are synonymous with craft breweries. Don't quote me on that though, because someone will say something differently.
We can talk about IBU a little bit. Where would you expect, well, first of all, what is IBU? Where would you expect different styles of beers to fall on that spectrum?
So your international bittering unit. So it's just a quantifier for how bitter beers are. There are guidelines for all of that. They can be sometimes they can conflict. You know, someone might say, or one beer style might say that, you know, a West Coast has to be over 50 IBUs, or a New England has to be below a certain amount. But that's it's not a rule of thumb. It's just a guideline to tell the brewer how much hops to put in. Because if you're making a pilsner, you certainly don't want to be maybe with some pilsners you do, but majority of pilsners you don't want them to have that same bite as a West Coast or a barrel aged stout. Something that's like when you bite into it, it's gone past bitterness and it's almost astringent in flavour. I like that with stouts, that coffee astringency that comes through. It's an acquired taste, whereas with something like a pilsner, it's more of a floral spice bitterness that comes through. Both can be perceived on the palate in different areas, but you'll definitely be able to tell that one has, and we can quantify that with science these days. Yes, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, it was just that was the art of the brewer to be able to tell that, perceive that on the palate. These days we can if you're using computers to make beer, you can, and which, let's be honest, most of them are, they can put all their parameters into the computer, and it'll let them know, well, you're making this volume of beer, this is the hops you're using, and this is the yeast you're using, this is your water profile. That becomes very important as well with different beer styles, and it'll tell you exactly how much hops to put in it to make it 30 IBUs. And there's really no room for error. As long as you're following those guidelines, you'll end up with a beer that is brewed to style. And admittedly, a lot of beers aren't brewed to style, as we've sort of just gone through there. But that's what we use IBUs for.